So keep that in mind, gang. You can get in for an entry once price makes a higher low. February 28th, you could have gotten for an entry as well. February 28th, you could have gotten for another entry. If we clone this right here and drag this right to here, once price makes this higher low, you could have gotten for an entry February 28th going into March 1st, 2022, and price made a higher high all the way up to 1924. And then you could have took profit once price got to 1924. And you seen price starting to head back down. You could have took profit, or you could have rolled this out and let this trade run. And once price made structure made a higher low, you could have still been in this trade and rolled this all the way up to 1941. From 1900 take profit 10 all the way up to 1941. So you could have did that too, or could have took profit, got out this trade once price made a higher low back to 1910, got in for an entry at 1910 and rolled this all the way up to 1941. So it's two things you could have did. You could have stayed in this trade and waited for price to make a higher low. If you're going to stay in the trade, you have to realize that price is going to, make a higher low before making a higher high. And you just have to be mindful of that. You have to wait for price to make a higher low. You see price heading back down. Um, you know, stay in this if you're trying to trade this and entry trade this, day trade this. You have to, wait for price to make a higher low. It made a higher low around, 7, 8 o'clock, and then New York session, and then New York session 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it made a higher high back up to 1941, 1942. And prices at 1940 right now, so you have to be mindful of that. Or you could have took profit, like I said, at 1924, and then once price made a higher low, wait for price to make a higher low, and then you can get in at 1911 as price will make what, a higher high, making structure. Price will make higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. Wait for price to make a higher low. Wait for price to make a higher low, and then you could have got in off this higher low and rolled this back up to 1941. Wait for price to make a higher low, and then you can ride this back up to the high. So we went over fundamentals, and fundamentals is extremely, extremely important. But let's go over technicals. This is why I teach you how to trade. Which is extremely, extremely important. Fundamentals are extremely, extremely important too, and they also help us determine what direction price is going in. But looking at technical analysts and just looking at structure and just understanding structure, we can see price was making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. Looking at the 4 hour and the daily, you can see that overall we're still in the uptrend. So extremely, extremely important. Prices in the uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows and higher highs. So fundamentals is still good, but we have to look at technicals, and we can see price was in an uptrend. We can see price was still in an uptrend. So wait for price to make a higher low, and you could have got in and rolled this all the way back up to the high, 1941. So you have to wait for price to make a higher low. You could have gotten for entry at 1901, 1902, as price made a higher high all the way up to 1925. Of course, you could have stayed in this trade and rolled this all the way up to 1942, 1941, or you could have got out of this trade at 1924, 1925, once you see price heading back down and made a higher low. And then once price makes a higher low, you can enter again. Or say you missed this trade, and this was around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, when price started heading back up. Say you missed this trade, and when all you have to wait until price makes a higher low, and as price would make a higher low, boom, back down to 1911, and then you could have entered at 1911, 1912, and rolled this all the way up to 1941, 1942. So this is where you make the most money at the bottom. Where you enter at the bottom is where you make the most money at. You at the higher low, and then you ride it to the higher high. You wait for price to make a higher low, and you ride it to the higher high, 1924. Wait for price to make a higher low back to 1911, and then you could have rolled this to the higher high, 1942. So I hope that helps, gang. Wait for price to make a higher low, and then you could have rolled this all the way back to the higher high. So price does do that. Price does do that. So, gang, wait for price to make a higher low at A, and then you could have rolled this all the way up to 1925, and then wait for price to make a higher low at B, and you could have rolled this all the way up to 1942, right to C, right to C. So that's another way you can look at it too. Wait for price to make a higher low at A, 1900, and then you could have rolled this all the way up to 1925. Wait for price to make a higher low at B, 1912, 1911, and you could have entered at B and rolled this all the way up to 1941, all the way up to C. So I hope that helps, gang. Um, and you could have took profit once price got all the way up to C, 1941. So overall price was in the uptrend. That's why we draw a trend line. We see ABC. We went right to C. Now price is heading back down to 1930, and we should see price head back down to 1930 around here, 1935. It might drop a little further down. But we want to have our trend lines on here. Wait for price to make a higher low, and then price can make a high, and then price will make a higher high. All right. So price was in the uptrend game for today, and it went all the way up to 1941. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes you get in the wrong direction. But it's okay. It's okay. We're still sticking to our trading strategy. And this is why we draw our trend line. You want to look at the 4 hour and the daily for the overall direction of what price is doing overall. So you can see price, went all the way up here to take profit 13 in the past before. You can see price went all the way up here to February 24th. Price went all the way up to take profit 13 in the past before. And price will do the same thing, in the future as it did in the past. So, went right up to take profit 13, boom, right to take profit 13, and then headed up to take profit 14. So, price goes up to take profit 13 and it's going to head up what to take profit 14. It's just like it did in the past right here, February 23rd, February 24th. Price went to take profit 13. Take profit 13, 1945, and then what? Headed all the way up to take profit 14, 1965, and got all the way up to 1974. So same thing here, gang. Price will do the same thing over and over again. With the take profit 12, and then almost to take profit 13, 1945, and then we see a push above 45. Price is going up to 1965. Take profit 14. So I hope that helps, gang. And I'll be dropping a lot of more content for you. So look at the overall direction of the trend. So we want to look at the overall direction of the trend on the 4 hour, as that will also help us determine in the daily, as that will help us determine what price is doing. You can see on the 4 hour we've been an uptrend since February 1st, February 2nd. Third, we've been in an uptrend, since price went all the way up to 1974, February 24th, 2022, and it made a higher low February 24th, 2022 as well, going to February 25th, 2022. And then, February 27th, February 28th, and going to March 1st, 2022, price is now heading back up, and we're continuing this uptrend, and price is continuing heading up. So we're looking at the 4 hour and the daily. Make sure you look at the 4 hour and the daily as well, and it will show you the overall direction of what price is doing. You can see prices in the uptrend. We've been in an uptrend, we've been in this uptrend since February 1st, and starting March 1st, price picked right back up with this uptrend. So we're still in the uptrend. If we go to the daily, we're still in the uptrend game. So I just wanted to show you that. And price did go all the way up to 1941, 1942, and we can see price going up to take profit, continuing up to take profit 13, 1945, and then eventually 1965. Take profit 14, and I'll keep you updated with fundamental news as well. But just looking at technical analysts and looking at overall what direction price is doing. As I teach you how to trade, we look at the overall direction and we can see prices in the uptrend. All right, gang.